Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, all the other stuff in between. Today we're going to take a look at the Mark 18 build here. So this started its life out in a different configuration. So these are on Thoroughbred Armament's website, and what they are is to Crane specification, like the OG Crane specification, which we're going to get into, but just to run down, 10.3 Colt barrel, RAS, brand new Colt M4 upper, M68 chopped carry handle, LMT style made there. I threw on my Surefire, and then I have a mount for the Surefire, trying to kind of do a clone correct-ish type build, but not really. The clone correctness isn't my thing, or I'd have a different stock on it. This is an SBR lower, so no, internet commandos like jumping my shit on this one. So originally when I built this, I took it to the range, and Thoroughbred had told me this is what he was thinking about doing with some leftover 16-inch barrels, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole and was looking at the different configurations for the Mark 18 Mod 0 because it really had never been something that really interested me. And once I went down the rabbit hole and saw the way these things were developed, so originally they were M4A1s that were chopped down as he did to 10.3, gas ports opened up and installed on a surplus M4A1 upper. Really the only thing that changed was they chopped the barrel and added the RAS, and then they used a carbine buffer originally. That was the CQBR Type 1. The Type 2, similar overhauled parts that were used, but different buffers were provided to tailor it to the ammo. I think, and then I'm not looking at like any type of fact sheet here. Those are all just weird information up in my brain here. And then you move on into like eventually the complete package, which was eventually Colt got involved, or not involved, but hit up Crane Indiana and was like, look, we can just supply you with 10.3 inch barrels to your specifications. You don't need to chop them anymore. And then they were built on a new upper receiver, and like the kit was supplied with I think just the upper receiver, and then it went into the Mod 0/1, which was the complete kit, the RAS, the optic, the LMT rear sight, everything. And I think that is accurate. I need to go back and fact check. And then eventually I had read somewhere, and I don't know if this is fact or not, so it may be misinformation. Someone can call me out. This is not misinformation, but I'm going to get to the point that may be misinformation. The really cool fact here is I wondered why they did not go with a 10.5 inch barrel or a 10-inch barrel, because these were developed to go in and out of ports on ships. And the 10.3 barrel was the shortest, the minimal length that they could use, or the maximum length minimal length that they could use for the barrel with the Knight's Armament flash hider that would attach the Knight's Armament suppressor. That was the shortest they could go, which is why they went with the 10.3. That's fact. What is not potentially fact is that with the 10.3 inch barrel and suppressors, or suppressed, non-suppressed, there was various different types of ammunition that had to be tested, and eventually Sierra was the manufacturer who came up with a very consistent, very lethal projectile for this platform to run off of for the operators, which I think is accurate. I went down several different used several different links and like reputable sources to try to make sure, but there was nothing actually from a book. And I try to use books when I do my research because it's been fact checked. Internet, not so much. Anyway, so again, originally I had built this one and used an M16A4 military surplus upper, no M4 feed ramps. It ran wonderfully. I had zero malfunctions with feeding. The M4 feed ramps were added to an M4, M4A1 to increase reliability shooting with burst fire and fully automatic. Shooting semi-auto, I had zero issues without M4 feed ramps. I pretty much mag dumped quickly in my video the short I uploaded basically into the burn, wasting just junk old ammo that I had. The only issues I had was one magazine related with an ASC magazine, which I don't even know where it came from. The second one was with I have a batch of old Remington ammunition, and between this and my 416D, the primers just failed to ignite. So no malfunctions out of the firearm itself. But then after really getting into it and really liking it, I went back to Thoroughbred and was like, hey man, let's go ahead and do the M4 feed ramps. Let's go ahead and put the new Colt upper on it. And I do want to keep my salty RASs on it. I have a couple really salty RASs. I was like, I do want to keep my military surplus RAS. I was like, but I do want to make it as clone correct as possible, and let's go ahead and swap it over to the M4. So we did swap it over to the brand new Colt upper with the M4 feed ramps to increase the chance of, you know, you want the most reliability possible. Now I have multiple old ARs, and after like looking at the development of this and the M4A1s and the M4s, I have a lot of AR-15s that do not have M4 feed ramps, and I've never had issues out of them. So that was something that kind of, I learned something through this adventure. I learned about myself. It was beautiful. Anyway, seriously. But yeah, I wanted the most reliability because this is something I'm definitely going to keep. It is part of the collection now. I am running it on a PWA SBR lower, and in the video that I uploaded, I was running it without an SBR lower. I just had a brace on it, and it was nowhere near as much fun to shoot, just braced. People ask me about what I think about XYZ braces frequently, and my answer is it's a brace. They're okay. I typically use braces because I live in a tri-state, and if I forget to fill out the 5320, which I did this year, it is difficult to transport my SBRs over to Kentucky, where my favorite range is. This one, I went to a buddy's house once I swapped over to the M4. I just went to a buddy's house here in Ohio and just mag dumped, not really mag dumped, I actually sighted it in this time, and then rapid fired through about 20 rounds just to see, you know, functionality, reliability. But it did great. I do typically have a Knight's Armament broomstick type foregrip I keep on it. Putting it in the safe with it on there kind of gets in the way for some reason. So I took it off, and then I brought it out for the video and forgot to put it back on there. But check out Thoroughbred Armament if you're looking for some cool clone stuff. Mk12s, Mark 18s, you know, Mark 12s, Mark 18s, some really cool builds in my opinion, but check it out. And again, he's a friend. I don't get anything for free. I think, you know, if you have a friend that has a business, you should support them. So I buy my stuff from the company because I think that's the nicer thing to, that's the friend thing to do. You don't expect a friend to give you something for free, especially if they have a business to run. You know, you want to support their business. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you want to see next. I'm going to do another video hopefully today and get it uploaded. I'm going to be trying to just drop videos on Wednesdays to be consistent. We'll see though, because that hasn't worked out so far.